If you've ever wondered how to actually make a bar chart trace animation, this tutorial will walk you through the process step by step. We'll be using Flourish, a powerful yet beginner-friendly platform now owned by Canva. Flourish makes it easy to turn your dataset into dynamic raising bars that change over time, perfect for visualizing things like GDP rankings, population growth, or any time series data. All you need to do is create a free account on Flourish, log in, and explore the wide range of chart templates available. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to set up your dataset, upload it into Flourish, customize the chart, and export your animation. By the end, you'll learn how to create your own dynamic bar chart trace from start to finish. If you are curious about Canva's chart tool for bar chart traces, I've made a separate tutorial for that. You'll find the link in the description. Now let's dive in and start building your first bar chart trace with Flourish. Let's say we want to create a bar chart trace comparing the top 20 world economies by nominal GDP from 1980 to 2025. First, we need to create our own data set. This is the foundation of the bar chart trace. Use the best resources on the internet to gather reliable data. For GDP, I recommend using resources like the IMF resource page, the World Bank, and even Wikipedia. You can feed these resources into ChatGPT or Copilot and get a good data set. So here's what I did. I asked Copilot to generate a CSV file of GDP data for the world's economies from 1980 to 2025. The structure of the CSV file should have the first column as country column, the second column for region, the third column for the country's ISO code, the fourth column for the country's flags, and then from the fifth column, the GDP value starting from 1980 to 2025. For this, I added resource pages to use. Once Copilot generated the dataset in CSV format, I downloaded it and opened it in Google Sheets. Do the same for whatever rankings you want to work on, and review the file to make any corrections. Once you are satisfied with the dataset, save it again as a CSV file. This is the file we will upload into Flourish to power the animation. So on the website, scroll through the templates until you reach the bar chart trace category. You see options like bar chart trace with timeline, with line charts, without timeline, with column charts or static bars. These are just examples of the kind of content you could use for each bar chart idea. You can replace the values and categories with your own actual data to create meaningful and informative visualizations. So select the first bar chart trace, the one with timeline. This opens the preview of the template. Since we have our dataset ready, let's upload and replace the dataset in the Flourish template. Click on the Data tab. In the Data option menu, click the drop-down and clear the default data. This removes the sample dataset that comes with the template. Next, click Upload File. Select the CSV file we created earlier. Click Import. Now switch to the Preview tab and you see your bar chart trace updated with your own data. At this point, it will still look like the default template. Same colors, same font, same number of bars, but the bars are now powered by your own data set. From here, we can start customizing the chart to make it look exactly the way we want. On the right-hand settings panel, the first option is Theme. This controls the overall style presets, the font, colors, and spacing. Changing the theme instantly updates the look of your chart. Try switching between themes and you see the fonts and colors change automatically, but I will stick with the default no theme. Next, let's look at Setup. This is where you control the overall chart style. By default, the chart is set to horizontal, but you can switch to vertical if you prefer that layout. Here you can also decide how many bars or economies you want to display on screen at once. The default is 10 as you can see, but since we are doing top 20 economies, I will increase this to 20 so more countries are visible in the race. The spacing percentage setting controls the amount of space between the bars. Adjusting it lets you make the chart more compact or more spread out, depending on the look you want. Next, colors. This is where you select the color options to distinguish countries in the race. You can choose color modes by category, by bar, or assign specific colors to each country. By category, you can select different palettes with different color combinations. So try different palettes and you see the different color combinations. You can try the second option to see what that looks like. And if you want to assign specific color to each country, then select single color option. You can add the country and specific color in this box. For example, in this box you can see that China is set to red. Let's say you want to assign green to United States, so you enter USA, green, and then the US bar will always appear green. Since we have a lot of countries, it's easier to stick to a palette and let Flourish assign colors. Next, labels. This controls the text labels on the bars, the size, the position, and font. Now it is set to images on bar. You can switch to images on the axis so that country flags appear directly on the axis and then the country name now appears on the bars. Next, click images. Here you can adjust the country image size, the height, and the width. You can change the shape of the frame from circle to rectangle, and you can also set the image to fill, fit, or stretch. Next, counters and totalizer. The counter shows the running year as the animation plays. You can turn the counter off if you don't want the year displayed. You can also control the font size and color of the counter. The totalizer shows the sum of all GDP values at every step. You can toggle this on or off depending on whether you want that information visible. For this, I'm going to turn it off. Next, time captions. Time captions are text annotations you can display in the middle of the chart at specific time. To add captions, go back to the Data tab and open the Captions submenu. Here you can add the year and the text you want to appear. For example, let's add, in 1980, Japan's economy surges, challenging US dominance. Set this caption to stay from 1980 to 1985. And I'm going to add more captions, like every 10 years, to highlight milestones. Now go back to the Preview tab and you'll see the timed captions pop up at the specific times. So in the timed caption settings, you can control the appearance of these captions, the font, background color, the font size, position, and alignment. For example, if you set the background to red, the caption will appear with a red box behind it. So you can experiment with this style until you find the look you want. Next, axis. This lets you adjust the axis scales, the lines, the ticks, and labels. This is set to dynamic scale, which adjusts automatically as values grow. Or you can try a fixed scale if you want consistency across the timeline. There is also a custom scale if you want to lock the maximum value. So let's stick to dynamic. Next, timeline and animation. This controls the speed, the duration, and the timeline display. The timeline duration, as you can see, is set to 30 seconds by default, which makes the animation fast, about half a second per year, as you can see here. If you change it to 60 seconds, the animation slows down to 1 second per year. And if you set it to 90 seconds, it's even slower, which can be easier to follow. I'm going to set it to 90 seconds. Then the bar swap duration controls how long it takes for the bars to change positions as the values change. It is set to 0.5 seconds by default. If I increase that to 1 second, and right here you can see the swaps are now slower. Next, number formatting. This sets how numbers appear. Here you can add commas, decimals, or currency symbols. For example, if the values are in dollars, you can add a dollar sign in the prefix box and your numbers will have dollars in front of it. If you are dealing with volume or weight, for example, you can add L for liters or add kg or kilogram in the suffix box. You can also set decimal places. For money values, for example, you can add 2 decimal places. Next, let's go to layout. This controls the overall layout of the chart, the font size, the text colors, the spacing, the margins, the bar thickness, and alignment. Here you can also add background color to the chart or add an image background. Here you can enter the RGB values and the chart will have that background color. To add an image background, turn on the image background option and then copy the background image address and paste it in this field and the image will appear in the background. Many YouTube videos use this trick to blend the chart with their branding. Next, let's go to header. This is where you can add titles, subtitles, credits, or sources at the top of the chart. For example, we can add top 20 economists in the world 1980 to 2017 and you can see it will show up at the top of the chart. But I can always add that information in Canva, so I will delete this and leave it as it is. Next, footer settings. This is where you can add credits or sources at the bottom of the chart. For example, for this you can add IMF, World Bank, or even Wikipedia at the bottom as sources for this chart. So these are the settings. You can go through one more time and see whatever changes you need to make. Once you are done customizing and you are satisfied with how your bar chart trace looks, it is time to export and publish. Click Export and Publish. With a free Flourish account, your project is public, which means anyone can view or duplicate the template and data. Click Publish and your chart will be published. Now, here is something important. Flourish does not currently allow you to export directly as an MP4 video. Instead, you need to record the animation as it plays. To do this, click on this link and it will open the final preview. So let the animation run and you can record your screen. You can use any screen recording software you have. Canva has a built-in recorder. You can use Camtasia Studio or any tool of your choice. Once recorded, save the file as an MP4 video. If at any time you want to edit the raised bar, log back into your Flourish account and go to your profile, click on Projects, then open the one you want to edit and publish again, and then you can repeat the export process by recording the updated preview. Once your video is ready, you can import it into Canva. In Canva, you can add it between clips, insert branding, create intro and outro slides, add text overlays, grids, transition, or include background music. Then export the final video in MP4 format. And this is the result. And that's how you can create a dynamic bar chart trace video using Flourish. It's simple, effective, and works beautifully. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more creative Canva tricks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.